6 science-backed learning methods for teens. You know, inside a teenager's head, there are about 86 billion brain cells firing away, connecting through a mind-blowing 150 trillion synapses. And yet, high schoolers still struggle to retain information. Why is that? What this is all about: understanding flow state and brain-based learning strategies can help teens absorb and retain new information better. How to maximize brain functions for effective learning includes breaking up lectures, creating information connections, practicing for brain-based learning, chunking content and active learning, using a growth mindset to enhance intelligence, and engaging the body to boost the brain. How the brain works in learning. According to learning scientists, teens struggling with studying isn't about laziness or lack of intelligence. It has more to do with how they're being taught. A typical high school class often involves students sitting in rows, passively listening to a lecture, then cramming at home for a test, only to forget most of the material within days. Sound familiar? Research in neuroscience reveals that many traditional teaching strategies don't align with how the teenage brain actually works. But the good news? Brain-based learning techniques not only energize students but also help them learn and remember information much better. Judy Willis, a neurologist and educator, explains in her book Research-Based Strategies to Ignite Student Learning that excessive demands on students are killing their curiosity and love for learning. So, what's the fix? Let's explore some brain-smart strategies that can help teens enter a flow state, where they're fully engaged and learning becomes effortless. Break up the lecture. Long lectures? Not the way to go. Research shows that after just 10 minutes, our ability to retain new information drops dramatically. A study by the University of Washington found that students in traditional lecture-heavy classes were 1.5 times more likely to fail compared to those in active learning environments. So, what's the secret? Break it up. Neuroscientist Eric Jensen suggests using interactive tools every 3 minutes, things like visual aids, quick call-in response games, or group discussions. This keeps the brain engaged and prevents the dreaded mental shutdown. Create information connections. Memorization is key, but how you memorize makes all the difference. Studies show that rereading textbooks and notes isn't effective. Instead, techniques like flashcards, self-quizzing, and drawing diagrams to connect new and old information help boost retention. Why does this work? When the brain recognizes something familiar, it activates memory patterns, creating a, "hey, I remember this," moment. Even better, practicing with low-stakes quizzes, ones that don't count for grades, can trigger dopamine release, making learning more enjoyable and reinforcing retention. Practice. The brain's learning foundation. Repetition is a classic memory technique, but it needs a twist to work effectively. The key? Linking repeated content to something new. According to Willis, the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory, thrives on novelty. So, instead of just rereading notes, try turning information into a song or poem, drawing key concepts into visuals, studying with a friend and making memory games. And don't forget rewards. Just like in video games, small rewards and positive reinforcement light up the brain's dopamine pathways, making learning feel satisfying. Chunking and active learning. 2 supercharged learning strategies? Chunking and active learning. Chunking means breaking down large amounts of information into smaller, manageable parts. For example, instead of memorizing a long list of vocabulary words, grouping them into categories makes them easier to remember. Active learning, on the other hand, is all about engagement. Research shows students in active learning environments consistently score higher. Some examples include role-playing activities, group projects, peer teaching, Debates and class discussions. Using a growth mindset to boost intelligence. The idea of a growth mindset, introduced by Stanford researcher Carol Dweck, says intelligence isn't fixed, it grows with effort. The more we challenge our brains, the stronger they get. Teachers who emphasize a growth mindset help students see learning as a way to become smarter. In his book Teaching with Poverty in Mind, Eric Jensen highlights that this approach is especially beneficial for students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Why? Because believing in their ability to grow makes them more resilient learners. Engage the body to boost the brain. Here's something fascinating. The brain and body are closely linked. Activities like playing music, exercising, eating well, and even meditating can supercharge cognitive function. Jensen points out that physical activity, in particular, is a game changer. The challenge? Many schools don't make time for it. So, parents, this is where you come in. Encouraging your teen to engage in brain-boosting activities outside of school, like sports, dance, or simply going for a walk, can make a huge difference. And let's not forget sleep. Teens need 8.10 hours of sleep per night. Yet many don't get enough. Sleep strengthens memory consolidation, meaning if they study before bed and get quality rest, they'll remember more the next day. Parents can help by setting tech-free wind-down times and encouraging a regular sleep schedule. The takeaway: learning doesn't have to be a frustrating cycle of cramming and forgetting. With brain-based strategies, like breaking up study sessions, connecting new information to old, practicing in novel ways, and prioritizing sleep and exercise, teens can transform the way they learn. So, let's ditch the outdated study methods and start learning smarter.